Cebu City is no stranger to famous landmarks. From the Magellan's Cross to the Heritage Monument in Parian, the bustling Queen City of the South has its fair share of monuments and markers. And these markers usually commemorate historical events or figures. But even a historic city like Cebu hosts some hidden landmarks, and if you are a keen observant city explorer, then these landmarks will not be hard to miss. So today we will be looking at some hidden landmarks in Cebu City. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the Kabilin Center channel. It will help us create more content for you. Now, are you ready to unravel these hidden city gems? Along Pilaes Street near the Law Building of the University of San Carlos, there is an eerie-looking landmark featuring a bust which has been defaced. The man on the faceless bust is Vicente Villordon, a lawyer and radio commentator who was assassinated in Cebu City on 1984. As a radio commentator, he was known for his sharp criticism of communism and government corruption at the time. Prior to his demise, Villordon had been receiving death threats from his fiercest critics. He was shot 3 times in the head at close range by unknown assassins. The incident happened outside his law office at the corner of Pilaes and Santiago streets. It is also on the same spot where his bust now stands. The landmark today features the faceless bust of Villordon on top of a microphone, serving as the stand, symbolizing his fiery radio commentaries. This hidden monument was erected by a group of radio commentators a few years after his death. Over the years, this hidden monument was neglected and vandalized. What remains today is a bust defaced with vandal markings on the rest of the marker. A seasoned shopper in Colon Street would probably recognize this hidden gem. The Vision Theater was built in the 1930s by Don Agustin Jereza. Its once magnificent facade in the neoclassical style features relief sculptures of full-bodied, nude muses from Greek mythology, sculpted by the Italian artist Dante Guidetti. It was said that the facade was not well received by the conservative Cebuano populace, who were horrified by the promiscuous imagery. The theater had showcased scores of zarzuela performances and cinematic film showing throughout its years. It also survived the bombings of World War II, hence the old facade still standing to this day. Like many landmarks in Cebu, the custodianship of the Vision Theater changed hands over the years. And with the rise of sprawling urban infrastructure in the downtown area, the theater was abandoned and neglected. Today, several business establishments now occupy the once majestic theater in Colon. Only time will tell if we can see the theater restored to its former glory and prestige. The old Parian district of Cebu is home to many heritage sites. The Heritage Monument, the Yap San Diego Ancestral House, and Casa Gorordo are just among the historical landmarks found in Parian. But unknown to many, there is another landmark that seemed to be lost in oblivion, and yet it is still standing to this day. This is the Zulueta Bridge. The Coral Stone Bridge is considered to be the oldest surviving bridge in Cebu City, and it is also the shortest. During the Spanish period, residents of Parian usually traversed this bridge going to the plaza, which is now the Heritage Monument of Cebu. The stone bridge survived the American period and the Second World War. Because of its antiquity in the urban landscape of Cebu, it was given a special marker which highlights its history. Unfortunately, like most lost heritage sites, it has been neglected. Its brass-plated marker was said to have found its way to the scrapyard. Today, motorists pass over the bridge, unaware of this heritage landmark. The American period saw the introduction of modern conveniences we take for granted today. Among them was electricity. Electrical posts and stations began to appear around the 1910s. One old building is a testament to the technological marvel of the early 20th century in Cebu, and that is the old office building of the Visayan Electric Company, or VECO. The edifice was completed in 1938. It was constructed in the Art Deco style, which was the trend of most civic buildings at the time. The American-era office building survived the bombings during World War II and continued to operate in the years after the war. But when VECO began to expand its operations throughout Cebu province, the company moved its operations to other office spaces. The old building was abandoned for a time and was later converted into a warehouse at some point. Today, it is currently undergoing restoration work, though its future use is still unknown. Many civic buildings built during the early and mid-20th century in Cebu have stood the test of time. Some were renovated, some abandoned, some retained its original functions, and some have changed. In the case of the old Tohong building in downtown Cebu, it turned out to be a different case. The Tohong building located at D. Acoselem Street was built during the 1950s. It was originally a hospital owned by Dr. Leandro Tohong, a native of Inatilan, Cebu. Dr. Tohong was himself a fascinating figure. Apart from being a medical practitioner, he was also a politician and movie producer. The hospital he built in downtown Cebu initially served as a maternity ward before becoming a general hospital. The building was closed due to some legal issues and was later abandoned. The facade of the structure is known to exhibit the distinctive Philippine Art Deco and may be one of the two buildings in downtown Cebu City with sculptures on it, the other being the Vision Theater. Today, the building remains abandoned, though some claim that people serving as caretakers are dwelling within its walls. But another Tohong hospital now operates in Mactan Island. Apart from his work in the Vision Theater, Italian sculptor Dante Guidetti also worked on one particular statue. This is the Old Boy Scout Monument. The statue is a freestanding piece about 4 to 5 feet tall that captures the essence of scouting. A brawny scout is striding uphill, the left hand pointing forward, the right hand holding a walking stick. The pose and the crumpled clothing imply action of the great outdoors. The statue was erected at the grounds of the old Boy Scout building along Osmeña Boulevard. But the sculpture went missing when the building was demolished to give way to the Philippine National Bank building. The statue was later rediscovered and was re-erected in front of the present-day office of the Boy Scouts of the Philippine Cebu chapter along N. Bacalso Avenue. When you hear of Chinese temples in Cebu City, you would probably imagine known landmarks like the Taoist Temple in Lahug and the Fo Guangshan Chuon Temple at Wirama Avenue. But you probably didn't know about this Chinese temple located in the downtown area of Cebu City. This is the Guan Yu Temple. The temple is dedicated to the Chinese deity Guan Yu. Guan Yu was a Chinese general during the Three Kingdoms period in ancient China. He served the warlord Liu Bei and was known to be a cunning and fierce warrior. His exploits earned him the admiration of many of his countrymen, and he was soon regarded as a god of war in Chinese religions. Interestingly, Chinese Filipinos in the past often associate him with Saint James the Great or Santo Santiago. His temple in downtown Cebu is as equally remarkable. Its facade is typical of most Chinese or Buddhist temples. Today, it is surrounded by commercial buildings and its facade covered with electrical wires. But it remains to be an interesting landmark thanks to its Chinese-style architecture amid urban infrastructure. So what do you think about these hidden landmarks of Cebu City? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the Kabilang Center channel for more interesting facts you would like to hear about. And we hope to see you in the next episode.